everyone, this is Connie from the Daily Life of Creativity, and today we are going to be creating a mini album using the On the Farm collection by Cartabella. This collection is gorgeous, guys. I love Cartabella papers. They're always so nice and solid, like thick. They have body to them. They're just perfect. And then I have everything prepped for us. It is going to be a 5 by 8 and a quarter mini album. I currently share a mini album and you guys wanted to see the process, so I've decided to use this collection to create this. Okay, so stay tuned for the instructions. All right, so I will be using double-sided tape to adhere my chipboard to my paper, and I'm using the cherry on top cherry tape. Okay, this one you can find over at cherry on top. I will go ahead and leave the link in the description box below. So let me just go ahead and tip that up. I will probably speed this up because this video is already going to be a while. So just grab your favorite type of drink or popcorn, write the measurements down. If you would like the cutting guide, you can find it over at, yes, over at Echo Park Paper. I'll go ahead and leave the link also in the description box below. So over at Echo Park, you will also, with the cutting guide, you will receive the supply list of everything that I'm using. For the chipboard, just to let you know here, you are going to need two pieces for the covers, front back cover. It is 5 by 8 and a quarter. And then for the spine, you will need 1.5 by 8 and a quarter. Okay. This is a larger book. It is going to look lovely by the time you're finished with it. So just stay with me. For the cover, to wrap this up, I am going to be using on the farm paper, and it is called Farm Day Finds. It is 422002. Okay, and I will go ahead and use my favorite tool. This is my book cover guide to guide myself to make sure that everything is straight, and that it just leaves about 3/4 of an inch around the album. Okay, so I'm putting that down. It leaves about a 3/4 of an inch all around. Sorry guys, I have this mic. And then with the same cover guide tool, I will go ahead and put that in between. It leaves the perfect space between the spine, about, I would say, 1/8 of an inch. So you can, right? Let me press this down with my little washi tape cutter. And everything that I'm using, I'll go ahead and link in the description box below, okay? Okay. I wanted to ask you guys, is this your first time making a mini album? And if it is, don't give up. Continue trying, because by the time you're done with them is the best feeling, when you're at your photos and everything is done. Okay. Now moving over to the back cover using the book cover guide. Just repeating the steps. All right. Let's see here. And then with my book cover guide, I'll go ahead and just trace a line here so I can cut that. And I'm using a blade and my ruler to just cut that straight. Okay. Okay. And then as we can see here that the album didn't get wrapped all completely, so I will go ahead and use the scrap here from this. It's going to be this side here, okay? So it's gonna have like a little border, which is okay. It's gonna look something like this. Looks really nice. But if you want the same paper, just put two of the same papers collection, or the same paper from the collection together if you don't want to mix it up. To me, I think it looks really nice. Okay. And then to ensure that that doesn't go anywhere and is adhered properly, I just want to add some glue here, or tape. Let's just double-sided tape all across. Okay, there you go. There you go. And this should be enough to wrap around the mini album. I just wanted to use my scrap paper so we can, there you go. So at the end of the wrapping the mini album, it should be like 13 1/4 by 10. Okay. I will use the same tool to trim my corners. This leaves about 1/8 of an inch right here between the paper and the chipboard. That ensures that your chipboard doesn't show when you wrap everything completely, which is nice. You don't want that chipboard showing when you have worked so hard on your mini album, right? All right. All right. Now our next step is to add double-sided tape all around. And I'm not going to speed this part up. You can pause the video, watch it in pieces because it is going to be a bit long just to complete everything, right? I will show you how to create the base and then you embellish the way you want. And I will come back and show you how I completed the album with embellishments and photo mats and so on. All right, let's add it here. All right. Right. Now I am going to go ahead and press this adhesive down, ensure that it is adhering to the paper properly. Okay. All right. So we are about 12 minutes in, or maybe less, because I'll go ahead and speed up the process of adding the chipboard to the, adding the tape to the chipboard. All right. So now our next step is to ensure that we wrap the covers. Okay. What I like to do is some people use the bone to press the paper on the opposite side to mark it. I don't trust myself to do that. So what I do is that I wrap the chipboard and crease it into the paper. Okay. So it should look something like this. Looks really nice. I really love the border and I love that I use the scrap of the paper to complete this. Okay. And then it's the same paper. So it looks really nice. And since we're doing on a farm team, I just love that it just shows that on the cover, obviously that is a farm team mini album. Okay, I will just continue pressing this down. And I'm gonna do the left and the right, and then I will do top and bottom. Okay, removing the double-sided tape. All right, so let's press that down, and I like to use my hands at first to put that down, ensure that that is sticking down, and then with your bone, just press it. And then the quarters that were middle, you know how you have that like a little 1/8 of an inch piece, just tuck that in with your bone to ensure that the chipboard doesn't show. You don't want to have that chipboard showing once again, right? Let's do the other side. All right, let's see. Just removing the backing of the tape. Oh boy, this one is, that's why it's very important to press it down so it comes out easier, the backing, without removing the tape from the paper or the chipboard. Okay, repeating that step once again, just using the table to press that down and then pressing it down with my hands. Hands always work great. Okay, and then using my bone to press that down. As you can see, it's not as straight as the other side, but that won't show when you're completing your album because you will cover the paper, the chipboard with a paper. Okay, let's use this to tap on the bottom, press it down. Beautiful. The other side, ensure that they're tucked in. Press that down. Oh boy. Okay. All right. All right. All right. So it should look something like this by the time you're done. The chipboard is showing right here a little bit. I think it's because of this side was a little crooked. So ensure that that is straight when you adhere it. Use your mats to add it straight. But we are going to do our best to cover it. Okay. And then to crease the spine, just gently press with your bone and then start bending. Okay, and that should be it. So this is the cover now. All right, so cute. I love it. All right, guys. So to cover the chipboard inside, we are going to use paper Roman chickens. I love the names of these papers. You guys get very creative when it comes to name the papers at Echo Park. All right, so Roman chickens, and I love the hearts, and I also love the chickens, but I am going to use the darker side with the, it's not even hearts, it's like little bushes of grasses or grasses. What's the right word to say? All right, and that would completely cover everything. Okay, since I have a little boo boo here that I would love to cover, and I don't want to waste the paper or the chipboard, so I will go ahead and add tape, double-sided tape all through this paper, and that will ensure that everything stays in the place. So ensure that you add it from corner to corner, covering everything. Okay, I will be back when that has been completed. I want to get the tape as close as I can to the edges to ensure that everything stays down, and then push it down here. All right, so everything is down. Use your little, whatever tool you're using. I'm using a washi tape cutter. I will go ahead and add those to the link below. I have an Etsy shop with acrylic embellishments, and this is one of the things that I sell. And there, I have different colors of them. All right. Oh my gosh. Okay, and what I like to do to make sure that this is straight, lining up with my mat. Use your mat or your scoring cutting board, whatever is closest to you, and then remove the backing from the first line here. And then line it up with the bottom of the book. It looks like it's straight to me. And then you can start pressing that down. And it would look nice straight through the whole album, right? And we cover the boo-boo right there in the corner, or the little mistake that we made. You know, sometimes they can't all be perfect, but we try our best. I try really hard for everything to look really nice all the time. And start removing the backing from the rest of the inside cover. Okay, press that down. Making sure that all the tape is coming inside the page. All right, press that down now. Right, right. And use your little bone to ensure that everything is adhering to your chipboard. All right. So it's leaving very little around the edge, which is okay. Usually I like to leave a little more, but since I had something right here, I wanted to ensure that that was covered. Okay. And then now start gently creasing your spine, bringing that inward. Perfect. There you go. Let's repeat that on the other side. What is this? I also like to do it on the outside. Very gentle, guys. Gently, because you don't want to put a hole on that paper after you have worked so hard to complete this, right? And it is so easy to do that. Okay, let's crease the other side. There you go. There you go. And then let's crease here. Gently. Okay. And then that is your cover right here. You have completed your cover, which is beautiful. Okay. Right. Right. All right. Okay, now moving on to the pages inside the mini album. I have everything cut here already. So I'll just go with you step by step. I'm using black card stack. You use the black card stack from the coordinating paper, or your printed black card stack by EcoPart. From okay, so now for the pages, guys. Um, to build the pages, you are going to need two pieces of cardstock that are black. I'm using black. You can use any color you want. Um, that are 10 by 8. So 10 by 8 should be something like this. It will have half of an inch spine here. So you will score at 4 3/4. Let me turn this over, score on the other side by 5 1/4. So 4 3/4 and 5 1/4. Okay. And remember, get the cutting guide over at Echo Park paper. I will go ahead and leave the link down below. If you want to go faster, just prepping everything and then just coming back to see how I did it. Okay. And since this is heavy paper, I like to score on both sides. Creasing that for okay. So now we have two pages that will go in the center of the spine. The spine is 1.5 inch in thickness width. So this will go in between that 1.5, leaving 1/4 inch on both sides. Okay, so these are your two pages. So it should look something like this. So this is 1 inch. And since the spine is 1.5 inch, you leave 1/4 inch on one side, 1/4 inch on the other side. Okay, it should look like that. So let me go ahead and add some double-sided tape for that. This is 1/2 inch tape, double-sided tape. Here's the other one. All right. And then for the pages, we are going to be creating some little flips with magnets, flip pages. Okay, for the first page in here, I want to add some little, something like this. Okay, so for that, we need 2 pieces of cardstock that measure 4 1/4 by 5. Okay, and you will score on the 4 1/4 side at 1/2 inch. This is the other one. I go in between the recollections. Score 2. There you go. So score on the 4 1/4 side at 1/2 inch. All right, and then let's place some tape on that one. Yes, Mama? Thank you, sweetie. I will use some double-sided tape for that. Pressing that tape down. And that is going to go on opposite sides of your paper, of your page, your first page. You know, when you add your page to the album, it's going to look something like this. Where's my album? Oh, I found it. So it should look something like this. This is going to be your first page, and then you flip that open. Inside of that first page, you would add this to right here like this. All right. So let's try to center that. Let's use our ruler. Then I use my mat to So this is 8 and this paper is 5. So I will probably add it in between 1 1/4 and 6 1/4. So between 1 1/4 and 6 1/4. That's what I will add it. Okay. Yeah. So between 1 1/4 and 6 1/4, and then just flip that since it's going to be adding there and it's core with your bone. So it should look something like this. Let's remove the backing from the tape once again. Between 1 1/4 and 6. And then just press that down with your bone. This little tool. And these are going to have magnets. Okay, the way I like to do it is that these are the tiny little magnets that I'm using. They are I don't know, I don't want to guess, they're tiny. So let's add those before we forget. With double-sided tape, I just like to get a piece of tape and then just have it facing each other like this, and then you place your magnets on opposite side. Let's try to place it in the middle, then turn that again, and then just let your magnet drop. There you go. And then I'll use this as a okay, push that down, and that is the magnets for this paper. Okay, to keep it closed. There you go. I will go ahead and repeat this step on the other side. Okay. Okay, so let's move on to the other page. Let me go ahead and add it one time so I don't forget. Then I'm gonna be mad if I start matting all the papers and then the magnets are not there. All right. I need 2 little magnets. I got the magnets on Amazon. There you go. Repeat the same process. Do it on the flip page first. And then flip this over and then just press it down. Okay, and then to ensure that the tape stays in there, just use your little tool to press that tape down. Of course, you will be removing the backing of the tape when you start matting your papers, but we won't do that right now. We will wait because we still have, okay, so this is your first page, guys, and it's looking like this. Looks really nice. Press that down. There you go. Okay, I'm gonna put it to the side. All right, so on this side right here, I'm not flipping this open. On this side, you will also create a flip up, a flip down. Let me let you know the sizes of this paper right here. You are going to need a paper that is 4.5 by 5.5. And you will score on the 4.5 side. I mean, you will score on the 5.5 side at 1/2 inch. Okay, so score on the half of an. And for the bottom part, you will also need a paper that is 4.5 by 4.5. Right here, it doesn't really matter where you score because it's the same size. Score at 1/2 inch. So it would look something like this. We are going to place the larger side on the top and then the smaller on the bottom. And this ones will also have magnets to close it, okay? But then we also create something on the last page. So nothing in between here in the middle. We leave this open like this. But on the back of this one here, the last page, we are going to create flip pages that open this way. And for this side, you will need 2 pieces of paper that measure 4 by 8. So you will score on the 4-inch side at 1/2 inch. And I'm doing that so we can just adhere everything to this page one time. All right. All right, so let's work on creasing everything and adding double-sided tape. Okay, let me add double-sided tape to everything now. All right, so now we have the double-sided tape added to everything. Let's press that down. I'm going to need the magnets again for these pages right here. All right. So now I'm thinking that maybe I should just add the flipped inside here. and then the other one on the outside. No, let's leave it the way it was, the way I had it in mind. Could remove this. Okay, this is the smallest one. We'll go at the bottom. Let's use our mat to line that up. Hope you're still in frame seeing all of this. And then just use your eyes to center that in between the page, okay, as much as you can. Remove the backing from the other top one layer. I'm gonna use this as a guide and then to ensure that that is straight. Okay. Lining up everything. And I will also use magnets to keep this close. So let's add the magnets before we forget. And a little dandy magnets. Right, and then just use the top page, which is the longest, to add your magnet. All right, let me bring this down since it's a little close to the edge. I want to bring the tape down before adhering it to the edge. I don't want to do that. Whew. There you go. There you go. So it should be look something like this. This is the second page. Opens like this. And then now this is going to stay like this, and you flip it on the other side, the back page, and you would add this like this. And this should be fairly easy to line up since it's the same. It's the same length of the paper. Press that down. Let's go to the other side. Okay, let's see. All right, and I'm leaving about, I would say, a little gap between the spine and this so the page can open and close properly. You see that? Just on the inside. Let's press this down. And then I will add magnets to this one here. Also, magnets. Okay. All right, let's put that here. Flip that over and then press it down. All right, now everything has magnets. Ooh. All right, so we are done with the pages. Now it's time to adhere them inside the mini album. Oh gosh. And this is going to be, you need to concentrate for this because you want them to be straight, okay? Let me use my ruler to mark with a little dot just to guide a quarter of an inch and a quarter of an inch. So the inch, 1 inch in between. So it should be something like that. See? Right there and there. I will use that as my guide since I want to ensure that everything is straight. Try doing it at the top, at the bottom with pencil and a ruler. So the first page was this one. You flip open. Let's remove the backing. And I think I want to use my dirty scoreboard. I need to clean it. It's so dirty. All right. Let's bring this up. There you go. All right. So I removed the backing from the tape from the spine. And I will use my guide little marks to center that. There you go. There you go. It's perfect. So I'm leaving a little space at the bottom, about 1/8 and 1/8 of an inch, and press that down. And then let's add the second page. Should be something like this, remember? So that will go right here. It's looking beautiful, guys. And this is almost done. Using my ruler to keep the album straight. Get it as, okay, get it. All right. I'm leaving a little gap since there's going to be a little bulk right here. And then that is it, guys. That is the base and the pages. Everything looks really nice. No, you just have to mat the black paper with the coordinating cardstock from the collection or the collection kit, or you can use your 6x6 paper pad. I will also give you measurements for that if you want me to, since we're here already. Right there. So it looks like this. It is so pretty. It's looking really nice. Okay, so for this album, I want pockets at the back and the front and the back. All right, for For the pockets, we are going to need two pieces of black cardstock that measure 4 inches by 6. So you need 6 by 4. You will score on 3 sides at half of an inch. So 1, 2, and 3. You just move this. Repeat the process on the other side. 1, 2, and 3. Let's do it again with the other pocket. 1, 2, 3. All right. And then let's cut at an angle where the lines meet, where they score. Let's bring those in. And then score that down. Okay. And I will use my adhesive double-sided tape to adhere that to. Okay. Add the double-sided tape on all 3 sides. All right. So that are your pockets right there. Press the tape down. All right. Let's use this as a guide again. To just keep the book straight, to try to line this up, the pockets. All right. And I'm adding it at the same, yes, using the paper pages as a guide. Okay. There you go. Let's press that down. pocket. Yeah, lining up perfectly. And then that is it for the matting, guys. That is complete now. No, I'm gonna just go ahead and cut everything up, and I will come back to adhere everything here online. Okay. All right, guys. So I am back, and I have cut every single matting, even the photo mats already, for every single page and packet. Okay. So for the base, I just wanted to let you know for the base of the page, I use a matting that is 4.5 by 7 3/4. It leaves a nice border all around the black cardstock. And then this photo mat is 7 by 4. I did it 7 by 4 because you can create a little cluster at the bottom or top or on the side, and you still have space to add maybe 2 by 2 photos if you want to, or just a larger photo. Okay. For this pocket, the bottom one is 4 3/4 by 3 1/4. And then the top one here is 4.5 by 3 inches. Okay, so every single base, like I said, for the large page at the bottom, it is 7 3/4 by 4.5. Okay, and then the photo mats once again are 7 by 4. Okay, for the little pages right here, these ones right here are 4 3/4 by 3.5. I'm using some of the 3 by 4 cards. Yeah, this is, yes, 3 by 4 cards from the 6 by 8 paper pad to put those here. And then the same inside is going to be matted with the paper. Okay. On this one here, it's the same for the matting, but then the photo mats here are different. These ones are 4 by 3.5, so you can add your 3 by 4 photos. For the top second flip, this is 4 3/4 by 4 1/4. So 4 1/4 by 4 3/4, and then 4 1/4 by 3 1/4. Okay, and I just use the same paper in and out, the same matting here, and this one will have a photo mat, a large photo mat. So it's the same, just repeating everywhere. This is so let me just go ahead and start adhering this down so you can see how it looks, and then we will embellish. I like the blue, but also like the green because it's playing off the. And I will go ahead and use my liquid glue. I love this liquid glue. Okay, start gluing things down. All right, I love that everything will have a nice border around. Okay, and then you can add some embellishments on top of this. Create a cute little cluster. It's really nice. Just, oh, that moved. There you go. I need to center this so I can not have nothing twisted. All right. Okay, you're gonna hear a little noise from the microphone or speakerphone, or what, how do you call that? Cut that out, Connie. Okay, that is center. I want to do the blue side. Okay, that is right there. Yes, Green or blue? I want the blue. Doesn't really matter because all the colors are already on the base paper. So whichever one is fine. It looks nice anyways. There you go. There you go. 3x4 card. All right, guys. So I'll go ahead and speed this up because if not, this is going to take forever. All right, guys. So I am back. You will need some ribbon. I am using this blue. I feel like it goes really well with the paper. You know, I know that at Echo Park they always want us to choose ribbon that matches with the collection perfectly fine. This is about 34 inches long, and I'm just adding it, making sure that is in the middle. This is the only piece that I have left over, so I cannot mess that up. I will add some double-sided tape underneath to keep it in place. Okay, let's just bring that forward. Put that down. Let's do the same thing to the other side so it stays when you open the um, album. There you go. Bring that over all around and stick it down, right? And then you can tie a knot. If you want to, you can make sure that it is in the center. For me, I don't mind the way it end up looking. It's fine. Sometimes things looking a little handmade makes it more special, right? So There you go. You tie a little ribbon or bow. I will be using this paper right here. This is on the farm paper. This is the other side of the 6x4 journaling cards, as you can see. I won't be using the 6x4 card, so I'm just using this. And this is 7¼ by 4¼ inches. Place that in the middle. There you go. Some of the frames from the ephemera pieces, I want to add them like this and then create a little cluster all around. Oh boy. All right. This is going to be a little messy if I don't. Oh God. No. I put a little too much, guys. There you go. Just press it down. And then add the second frame underneath. I'm actually not going to be squeezing that much glue because like that. Okay. And then from the 12 by 12 element stickers, I have picked a few embellishments here. This little barn house, the little truck with all the animals in the back. And I added some foam adhesive in the back for layering. Okay. There you go. Add that here in the middle between the two frames. That's nice. This little corn bush, or I don't know how you call that. What's the appropriate word? And then this one here, like it's in the background, like just creating layers. You know, even though this one looks a little taller, let's push that down a little more. There's fine. There you go. And then I added, I framed this with green cardstock. This is the good life, you know. And then I added also foam adhesive to the back. And I'm gonna, oh, I should have brought this down a little more. Oh no, what about like that? Let's do it that way. There you go. I wanted it to frame that. And I will add some enamel dots, some orange ones, just to bring out, or maybe dark blue or light blue. What is this? Or red. Let's do some red, right? Red was pops on everything. Some blue. Orange. Green. Some green. go. So I added three little clusters of. I want this little goat. That's so cute. Goats are so adorable. Let's see. Where do we put him? No, goats are little. I think it's a goat, right? Maybe. I hope I'm not wrong. They're always up to no good. All right. Should we do that by the barn? Yes. Right there, outside. Giving trouble. All right. So that is it for the cover. And I will flip through the pages once I have adhere everything. Be right back. All right, guys. So we are done with the mini album. Hopefully, you made it this whole time. And this is the way it turned out. It looks really nice. I created a little cluster of embellishments here in the cover. You saw the process of that. And inside, I kept it pretty simple because you still have to add the photos to complete the mini album. This is a pocket. I just added a piece of ephemera here. And then also here, but you also have space to tuck your photo in if you have any blank space at the top of the photo. These are 3x4 cards, and some of the I use mostly the ephemera pieces from the on the farm collection and the um, element sticker 12 by 12 card stack stickers. If you have some stamps, go ahead and use the stamps. Those work great with this too. And then just adding some little titles: our family, fun on the farm. The good thing about this is you can add photos here, here, and here. And then these are the 3x4 cards you can add, but you can also tuck your photos in, so you don't have to worry about that. On this one, I just added these are 4x4 cards, and I created a little cluster here with the element stickers. And I left this pretty blank so you can add your photos. All right, on this side, I also just added a little ephemera piece with a little sticker. It already had a little, what do you, what is this? It's not a chicken. It's, okay. So you can just stuck your photo in there, okay? And then on the other side, just a title. This is the good life with a little rooster. There you go. The enamel dots. And these are also the 3x4 cards that I told you earlier. All the measurements, you should find it over on the website, an Eco Park paper. Okay. But remember that I will leave the link in the description box below. This is a 3x4 card, kept that pretty simple. Added a homemade with a little piggy, and it says country roads. You can also add photos here. And then just a little horse with the sticker welcome, and then another packet. And that is it for this mini album. Let me know what you think about it, and if you would like to see any other process videos. This is the I just replicated the album that I did for Bella Boulevard. See, it's the same thing. I know you guys were going to ask how I created this mini album, so I just went ahead and recreated for us with the Echo Park paper collection. Okay, and if you have any questions, like always, just leave it in the comments below. But I can't wait see you guys to see your guys' comments. If you would love to subscribe to my YouTube channel, go ahead. I would love for you to be a part of this crafty family. And then for my Instagram is at the Daily Life of Creativity. I share most of my projects there. I don't have process videos for everything, but for sure I always have pictures or blog posts directly to either Eco Park, Bella Boulevard, and other companies. Okay, bye. Thank you.